Good evening, you're watching News Mongolian World. I'm your host, Andra Batr. For top stories: press briefing held on ensuring gender equality engagement in decision making. Diabetes is becoming the leading cause of vision problems in Mongolia. Mongolian National Boxing Team won 10 medals from the Asian Championships. And for the news, stay tuned. The plenary session of Parliament was held on November 11th. The session included the fourth discussion of the proposed 2023 state budget, the 2023 Social Insurance Fund budget, and the 2023 Health Insurance Fund budget. Under the law on plenary session procedure, the state budget must be approved by a majority vote, with votes from more than 39 members. The 2023 state budget was approved with support from 50 members, 81% of the 62 members of Parliament in attendance. The government's budget policy for 2023 is focused on the following objectives: implementing a state austerity policy, promoting the new revival policy, reducing import pressure, and stabilizing the macroeconomy through the optimal distribution of resources. The budget deficit will be lowered from the target level of 1.9 trillion MNT, or 3.6% of GDP, to 481.1 billion MNT, or 2.6% of GDP, achieved by destabilizing the economy, guaranteeing macroeconomic balance, and enforcing fiscal discipline at all levels. Budget reforms in the healthcare and education sectors will be enforced, and the investment and business climates will be supported through tax policies. The government has said that ongoing major projects in the mining and industrial sectors will be completed by implementing the new revival policy, and new energy sector projects will commence. Tax and salary measures that encourage urban to rural migration will also be taken. The government expects the economy to stabilize and inflation to drop to single digits by the end of the year with the execution of the 2023 budget policy. Diabetes is a chronic disease that occurs either when the pancreas does not produce enough insulin or when the body cannot effectively use the insulin it produces. According to World Health Organization data, every 30 seconds one person gets a leg amputated because of diabetes complications. In 2019, 5% of people in Mongolia between the ages of 20 to 49 were at risk of developing diabetes, and 1 in 2 people with diabetes is unaware of having the disease.
The most common vision problem among people with diabetes is diabetic retinopathy. This is when high blood sugar levels cause damage to blood vessels in the retina, resulting in swelling and leaking. The swelling can also block blood from passing through. Sometimes abnormal new blood vessels grow on the retina. All of these changes can lead to vision loss. Due to lifestyle changes and unhealthy habits, 1 out of 2 people in Mongolia is overweight. There is a greater risk of prediabetes conditions. I advise people to stay physically active, maintain a healthy diet, and live a healthy lifestyle. The latest statistics show that 3 out of 4 people in low-income countries have diabetes. Patients suffering from this disease say it's easier to prevent diabetes by maintaining a healthy lifestyle. Everyone should care about their health from an early age. I've been suffering from this disease for more than 20 years. This disease damages all your vessels and capillaries. Because of that, I have had 2 strokes. I advise people to start treatment as soon as possible to prevent complications. Maybe because of the COVID-19 pandemic, the availability of medication was scarce. Plus, there are very few medications that are discounted through social and health insurance. Diabetes can affect many major organs, including the heart, eyes, kidneys, and brain. When the disease isn't well treated, it can lead to many serious conditions that occur alongside diabetes.
A press briefing of ensuring gender equality engagement at the decision-making level was held on Tuesday at Novotel Hotel. The briefing was attended by the Secretary of the National Committee of Gender Equality in Hwair, UNDP Resident Representative Elaine Konkevich, and other stakeholders. Let's take a look in our next report. In Mongolia, gender equality engagement is low at the decision-making level. The inadequate participation of women at the decision-making level is due to many factors, such as the legal framework for gender equality, established social attitudes, the policies of some political parties, and a male-dominated political environment.
In 1992, when the first democratic election was held, 5.3% of the members of parliament were women. Today, this number has noticeably increased, reaching 17.1% during the 2016 and 2020 parliamentary elections. However, compared to Asia-Pacific and international averages, this number is 4 to 8% lower. The purpose of today's press briefing is to increase the engagement of women at the decision-making level. As of 2021, 50.9% of Mongolia's population was women, and 50% of voters were women. We think the decision-making bodies that represent the whole population of Mongolia should have at least 30% female representation.
Our efforts and solutions to confront them must be equal in weight and response. In this connection, I'm pleased to share and announce that we have made a joint pledge developed under the UNDP project supported by KOICA on promoting gender equality in decision-making and women's empowerment, which is being implemented together with the National Committee on Gender Equality.
The press briefing participants agreed that various policies and programs supporting women should be adopted and implemented to ensure gender equality at the political and decision-making levels. The construction of a 1,000-kilometer highway from Altınbultuk to Zamyurt is scheduled to start soon. The economic situation around the world has been challenging due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but Chinggis Land Development, New Development Road LLC, says it's ready to start the highway's construction. The company says they have resolved all investment-related issues. In 2012, the company won the tender for constructing the Altınbultuk-Ulaanbaatar-Zamyurt highway. In 2014, it signed a 30-year concession agreement with the Ministry of Economic Development. As part of the government of Mongolia's new revival policy and the Transit Mongolia program for international transit transport and logistics, the Integrated Asian Highway Network project is being implemented. Officials say the highway will connect Mongolia to highway networks in the south and north and play an important role in trade and economic relations between the European and Asian continents. Chinggis Land Development Group is the concession company for the 1,000-kilometer highway that will pass through Mongolia from the Zamyurt and Altınbultuk ports. The highway network will total 2,640 kilometers, starting in China's Tianjin port and continuing to eastern Siberia. The 6-lane highway is expected to increase trade turnover, attract foreign investment, and create 150,000 new jobs. The construction plans include livestock and wildlife crossings, green structures to block drifting sand, and rest and service complexes and new residential areas. Chinggis Land Development Group is working with Italian and British consultants to develop technical and financial assessments for the project, allowing the company to attract funds from Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank and various international investment funds. The project is expected to become a major development project that will increase state revenue by 25 to 30%. Thank you for staying with us. Now let's take a look at the currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. Here's the international news from our partner agencies. US President Joe Biden and Chinese leader Xi Jinping took a small but significant step towards stabilizing what has become an increasingly fraught relationship when they met for over 3 hours of talks on Monday.
President Joe Biden objected directly to China's coercive and increasingly aggressive actions toward Taiwan during the first in-person meeting of his presidency with Xi Jinping, as the two superpower leaders aimed on Monday to manage their differences in the competition for global influence. The nearly 3-hour meeting was the highlight of Biden's week-long round-the-world trip to the Middle East and Asia and came at a critical juncture for two countries amid increasing economic and security tensions. Speaking at a news conference afterward, Biden said that when it comes to China, the U.S. would compete vigorously, but I'm not looking for conflict. Biden reiterated U.S. support for its long-standing One China policy, which recognizes the government in Beijing while allowing for informal American relations and defense ties with Taipei, and strategic ambiguity over whether the U.S. would respond militarily if the island were attacked. He also said that despite China's recent saber rattling, he doesn't believe there is any imminent attempt on the part of China to invade Taiwan. Xi, according to the Chinese government's account of the meeting, stressed that the Taiwan question is at the very core of China's core interests, the bedrock of the political foundation of China-U.S. relations, and the first red line that must not be crossed in China-U.S. relations. Biden said he and Xi also discussed Russia's aggression against Ukraine and reaffirmed their shared belief that the use or even the threat of nuclear weapons is totally unacceptable. There was a reference to Moscow's clearly veiled threats to use atomic weapons as its nearly 9-month invasion of Ukraine has faltered.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky called the upcoming G20 summit in Bali the G19 summit in his nightly address on Monday. Preemptively cutting Russia out of the group, Zelensky commended the US and China for rejecting any threats of nuclear strikes, adding that everyone understands to whom these words are addressed.
Zelensky also welcomed a United Nations resolution on the establishment of an international compensation mechanism that will allow to compensate for all the damage caused by the Russian war at the expense of Russian assets.
It is obvious for everyone what Ukraine is, what the presence of our flag is. When there is a Ukrainian flag, there is a civilization, there is a freedom, there is a social security, and there is an infrastructure. There is security, and there is someone to take care of people. There is everything that disappears and is destroyed when the occupier comes. This is what the Russian flag means: complete devastation. There is no electricity, no communication, no internet, and no television. The occupiers destroyed everything themselves on purpose. This is their special operation.
The UN General Assembly approved a resolution Monday calling for Russia to be held accountable for violating international law by invading Ukraine, including by paying reparations by widespread damage to the country and for Ukrainians killed and injured during the war. The vote in 193-member World body was 94-14 with 73 abstentions. The resolution recognizes the need to establish an international mechanism for reparation for damage, loss, or injury arising from Russia's wrongful acts against Ukraine. It recommends that the Assembly's member nations, in cooperation with Ukraine, create an international register to document claims and information on damage, loss, or injury to Ukrainians and the government caused by Russia.
Now let's take a look at our regular feature on sports. Matches in Group D of the preliminary round of the 2025 FIBA Asian Championships have ended in Ulaanbaatar City. After 5 days of group matches, the top teams of the group were announced, and the national team of Mongolia and the national team of Thailand played for the championship of the group, and the national team of Thailand won 109-105. The Mongolian national team was leading by 10 points during the first half of the game, but in the third quarter, Thailand scored more points. Subsequently, in the fourth quarter, Thailand confirmed its lead, and the main player of the team, Frederick Lish, scored consecutive 3-pointers, and the Mongolians lost for the first time in the preliminary round. Each of the two teams had 3 players score more than 20 points. Lish from Thailand scored 30 points, Moses Morgan scored 26 points, and Nakam Jaisanuk scored 23 points. Bilgun from Mongolia scored 31 points, Sancher scored 23 points, and Anand scored 20 points. Previously in the 2018 Asian Games, Thailand beat Mongolia by just 1 point. Group D matches were held at UG Arena, New Palace. The Palace has a total capacity of 3,150 people, and yesterday's game was completely sold out. Before this match, when the national teams of Vietnam and Malaysia played to decide who will qualify for the next round, with the third place in the group, Malaysia won 73-56. Guam, Hong Kong, and Singapore qualified for the second round with 2 points from Group C of the first preliminary round, while Thailand, Mongolia, and Malaysia qualified from Group D. These 6 teams will play in the second preliminary round in February 2023. The 4 teams with the highest points will qualify for the preliminary third round of the Asian Championships. The Asian Boxing Championships for adults were held in Amman, the capital of Jordan, from the 1st to the 12th of November. 320 athletes from 30 countries competed in 13 male and 12 female weight divisions. 17 athletes competed from Mongolia and won 2 silver, as well as 8 bronze medals. The 2022 Asian Amateur Boxing Championships were held from November 1st to 12th, 2022 in Amman, Jordan. At this time, 320 male and female boxers from 30 countries competed in the tournament. Many new young athletes participated in the national team of Mongolia, and they performed their duties well, winning 2 silver and 8 bronze medals and taking 11th place on the medal table. At the Amman 2022 Asian Amateur Boxing Championship, the Mongolian national team member Namirtag in the women's 60 kg weight class and international master Pointala in the men's 60 kg weight class won silver medals respectively. Moreover, international master Altın Tsitsig in the women's 52 kg weight class, Yisugin in the women's 54 kg, Shin Tsitsig in the women's 63 kg, international master Irtuntoya in the women's 70 kg, international master Inhmandag in the men's 51 kg, young athlete Londa in the men's 57 kg, international master Chinzarug in the men's 67 kg, and the international master Bianbirden in the men's 71 kg won bronze medals in their respective categories. The national team of Mongolia grabbed 3 gold and 5 bronze medals at the 2021 Asian Amateur Boxing Championships that took place in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. The national team of Kazakhstan won 6 gold, 7 silver and 8 bronze medals, while the national team of Uzbekistan won 6 gold, 3 silver and 3 bronze medals, and India took 3rd place with 4 gold, 2 silver and 6 bronze medals. Jordan and Thailand took 4th and 5th place by winning 2 gold medals each. Here's the weather forecast of all major cities. Well, that's all for today, and thank you for staying with us. We'll see you tomorrow with more news and updates. Have a nice evening. Goodbye.